So here's the question. If you were to go into the quarantine and you were going to have one name brand item and one non-name brand item, and the non-name brand item was going to be complete trash, and your choices are between toilet paper and paper towels, Chris, what are your thoughts?
So name brand on one of those?
Yeah. Name brand. The name brand one is going to be nice. The non-name brand is going to be trash.
And it's between toilet paper and paper towels?
Correct.
See, I didn't. Okay, so I'm gonna go with the name brand paper towels.
Okay.
Because I'm super not picky about toilet paper. Like we've had single ply here at the house for a while, and I'm used to it. So, and
Animals,
I think you can get a lot more. See, here's the deal: wet toilet paper is wet toilet paper. It's done, right? So, but if you have a wet paper towel that's a decent paper towel, you can probably actually use it several times, including wiping your ass if you needed to.
Or you can use just towels, which are definitely reusable.
I mean, I guess.
But you can't use just paper. It has to be toilet paper.
Yeah.
Like, I wipe very thoroughly, so like if I use anything too rough, I might like just fucking sandpaper my asshole.
Yeah. So initially, when I thought about this question, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to ask it because it's a no-brainer. You take the toilet paper. But then I started thinking about it, and I was like, if it's not a thorough job and I'm going to be quarantined, I'll just jump in the shower if need be. Whereas paper towels really are if there's a trash paper towel, all it does is move the kind of wet along the surface of what you're wiping.
To be fair, that's what literally shitty toilet paper do too. It doesn't fucking take it out. Like, you want to take what are you using paper towels for? Like, I use it, I don't use paper towels, I guess, maybe that often. Like, wipe stuff down, but I can use a rag for that. Or like dry my hands, but I can also use a regular towel for that.
That's a good point. I feel like I use paper towels a lot.
I use them a lot too, I'm probably horribly wasteful with them. But I use them in the shop a lot too.
Because definitely a commitment to take a shower every time you shit versus just fucking switching to regular towels.
Yeah,
and then throwing them in the wash. At the end of the day.
My second question is just came from talking to Chris a little bit earlier. If you were gonna,
you all talking without me? I see how it is.
We were waiting for you to pick up. I made the phone call at the same time. What is if you were to start a metal band, what would you name it?
Oh.
So I'm gonna tell you what mine is. Mine is Fetal Pig.
Is it already a fetal pig?
I hope not. Like, it's been my dream since I was like when I was we had to dissect one when I was in middle school, and I was like, Fetal Pig sounds like a fucking awesome band name, and ever since then I've had this like fantasy of starting a band called Fetal Pig.
See, the problem is now it's out there, and they're gonna be real bad. You're gonna be real bad.
Somebody steals it.
It's real fucking popular.
And then the Sans guy from that video game becomes the logo for it.
Yeah, dude, you're so bitter about that shit. It is like one of the most popular indie things.
That's the thing about it, is like because it blew the fuck up,
I have a lot of band names. If you'd like me to
please,
list them.
Please.
And what was the one that I don't even remember what we?
It was Sultry Flim.
Sultry Flim.
God.
Yep. And these aren't necessarily metal bands, but I think they'd be funny. Growth Spurt.
Oh, that's
an alternative band.
Yeah, I feel that they're right next to the Gem Blossoms. Like they're opening up for the Gem Blossoms.
Origami Haircut.
That's anime.
K-pop band.
I like it.
Noodle Frame.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. I'm not sure what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Underpowered Lawnmower. And Grandma's Birthday.
That's good.
Those are my lists of things. I mean, there's a couple. I think it's a shame there's not a band. I'm sure there probably is one called the Lollipop Guild.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be
more band names apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually had this. I actually have this in my phone. Mason needed. What did he? So he had a project in his. Back in the day when they went to school. He was in like his second year of that print production class. So they had to, for the first year, the second year students had to help the first year students come up with. Basically, it was advertising ideas for products that don't exist. I'm like, well, I've got some ridiculous. So I named off a bunch of stuff. The other one was found couch. Foreign policy, burnt, just burnt.
Foreign policy is a good one.
Broken phone charger is also a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking good.
You got any, Joe?
No, I'm not creative like that. I never thought of making my band.
Oh, and here's the last one here. Olive loaf. Anyone who knows that delicious meat treat.
Meat? I thought thinking about bread when I hear loaf, usually.
So it's so olive loaf's a real thing. So it's sliced sandwich meat that's got olives built into it, or however they do that. Yeah, sexy kind of.
All right, so let's get into Rona Romps. Joe, anything new for your Rona Romp?
I mean, no. I mean, there's no more lessons to be taught. People should fucking know by now. Like, if you don't know, you don't know. Like this person I saw.
No, yeah, I was gonna say you have a new DSA for this week.
I don't know if it's I feel like it's common sense, but
common is relative, sir.
I saw this guy in line, bro. I was up behind my in the pharmacy counter, like a couple steps raised, so we can look over the pharmacy, you can see the line and everything out front. Mm-hmm. So I saw this guy pull down his mask to cough into his elbow, and then pull his mask back up. And I did not know what to do. I did not know what to say. I just froze, and I opened and my mouth opened, and I was like, "What did I just fucking see?"
That's amazing. That's every time
I'm not sure if anybody noticed that.
It never gets less shocking to me.
You've seen it before?
No. But when you said it in the chat, I was like, when I was reading it, my jaw was like in my lap, so to speak.
Exactly. I couldn't laugh. Like, even though in my head it registered as funny, I couldn't fucking say anything. Sometimes you see something, like if you can't say anything, like you slap the person next to you and point, right? Like my tech was next to me. I couldn't. I just froze.
Yeah.
Mine could not comprehend what I was looking at.
I have
and he wasn't that old either. It was like just a middle-aged dude. Just not that much older than us.
Right. While we're on the topic of DSAs, I have two. One is a joke at people, and the other one is just something for everyone to consider. So the one that's a joke is this: a mask isn't like a magic talisman. Like, just because it's on your person doesn't make you protected.
This is true.
So if you are in a assembly area, meaning a grocery store or anything where people assemble to kind of do things, and it's hanging off your ear, it's not working.
But I see a lot of people not wearing the bottom strap, just the top strap, not the bottom strap.
I see that as well. But this week or this past week, I saw someone with it hanging, like it was like a surgical mask. And the loops that go around your ear was just hung off of one. Like, almost like it was like the Kova equivalent of Belle Biv DeVoe only fastening one buckle from their overalls.
Oh my god! So it was just hanging off.
Yeah.
If I were you, I'd take precautions.
Dude, well done. That's a great specific pull.
Dude, band name, specific pull.
So here's the one that's serious. This is just something for people to consider. This thing seems to be contagious via droplets. And droplets are what? Liquid. Liquid is what composes a droplet. So if you are wearing your mask and it gets wet or it's raining outside, think about the implications that has in regards to the protection that it's providing, meaning it's less.
Yep.
Just be aware of that. That's not a slight against anybody or saying that anybody's dumb. It's just like a food for thought thing. If it gets wet, it's not helping. If a mask is helping at, say, let's say for protection, it's helping at like 30%. If it's wet, it might be helping at 15%.
No, that is a DSA. That people don't realize think also that if they're wearing masks, even properly, if they're wearing the mask properly, that they don't have to worry about the distance of standing next to somebody so much
Right.
because they're wearing masks. But like those masks, even N95 masks aren't perfect. The 95 stands for 95%. Like 5%
Right.
of shit.
Right.
So like,
Oh,
standing
so
further
I've
away-
got an N5, so that's not very good.
Well, so
shitty fucking toilet paper.
and here's the thing: is that just to clarify what Joe said, the 95% means that of particles that they test on, there's only 5% that can't get in. But they know that it's size related, right? So like,
And viruses are the smallest thing.
correct. But N95s do block the corona. But
Yes.
yes.
Not perfect.
But the thing about the N95s are, I mean, there's a number of things. First of all, they can get wet too. Secondly, people, I see a lot of people with them, but like the seal of an N95 matters. It matters a lot.
No straps.
So I would suggest that if you're putting on an N95 as you're exhaling, just run your fingers around the sides of it before you go out to make sure that it's sitting on your face properly and that no air is getting out. Because I see people where like the nose guards aren't pushed down and stuff, and it's like, it's you're not using it to its full potential.
Mm-hmm.
So what else Rona wise, Jim? Anything?
Nothing else new or different than things I've already fucking seen.
Yeah, things have been a little bit different on my end.
Well, I say love. I think people are getting complacent because I do see more people out and about.
So
Like,
I agree.
Especially kids fucking playing together, groups of kids playing together. Like it's like what you said last week, man. Like that's not fucking helping, man. They're just bringing home whatever they catching.
Correct.
Just like how when one kid gets sick in class, everyone gets sick, and then all the families get fucking flu.
Yeah. I want to say that in the buildings that I am mopping, some of them are nursing homes, and you know what I mean, because we have contracts there, and other kind of group home type scenarios, and some hotels, et cetera, and you're told that there are sections that we're not going to mop without it being cleared out and all sorts of stuff. But it seems as though, to me, from the outside looking in, with no knowledge of what's really going on, that this past week people have been sicker, significantly sicker, and which there is a silver lining to, because it would suggest, at least once again from my limited control group, right, that we are heading into or coming out of or around the center of the peak, which would be comforting in some ways. And then all that CDC information is interesting to me also. That
it does make me go,
Yeah.
It's convenient.
Well, like if you're all right, so I'm not a conspiracy theorist about this stuff at all. Just as a disclaimer, and people keep talking about these two guys from California. Do you know what I'm talking about, Joe?
Nope.
Okay, so these two guys these two guys from California have made.
Did they walk in a bar?
Yeah, they walk in a bar with a rabbi and a priest. Robert sent me a meme recently that had it was like a rabbit walks into a bar and orders a drink. With a priest and a rabbi, or with a priest and somebody else, and then looks at the bartender and says, "I think I might be a typo." So anyway, the hold on 1 second. I can't, for some reason, some people can't chew gum and walk at the same time. For whatever reason, I can't refill my vape and podcast at the same time. But
so much concentration on pork.
Yeah. So. Yeah, so here's the thing. They had a video. It got a lot of legs because it offers a kind of very kind of conspiracy-esque view, but also, they're saying from our view on the front lines and all this kind of stuff. And people want hope. People are attracted to hope in the same way that they're attracted to fear, in my opinion. But look, people are saying that that YouTube and everybody's pulling this stuff down because it's a conspiracy and all this. Like, no, it was pulled down because these guys are fucking scam artists. well, I shouldn't say that. I don't know them personally, but they have financial intentions with their motivations. They have an angle, and they're not MDs. They're not immunologists or epidemiologists. Or
I didn't look into it, but I did see like fucking posts and stuff about don't listen to fake doctors.
Yeah, they're none of those. They're none of the type. Like my wife is a doctor, but she has no business offering you medical advice on. She has no business offering you medical advice on your infectious disease control. So there's doctors of Egyptian history, so just I would be cautious about some of that stuff,
Yeah.
But one thing, so I say that, right? I say that to say this. There is federal money out there for hospital services regarding coronavirus. Anytime there's money involved in anything, people will round a square peg as much as they can to fit in a round hole.
Yep, people are awful.
So as a result, the CDC saying that the numbers are inflated by about 30 to 40% doesn't bother me. Doesn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the problem is it doesn't surprise me either way. Like, it doesn't surprise me if they're telling the truth, and it wouldn't surprise me if they're lying. There's interest involved in all ends. That's the problem. And none of it lies with the people.
Well, what do you think the CDC interests are?
I mean, it depends on who is fucking in charge or who's telling people what to say. Like, I don't know who's in charge of what anymore. There's so much fucking change in staffing and administration of like everything in this country.
Right.
Like,
but I mean, what do you think? I mean, what concerns you about the CDC and their motivations?
Well, we want people like there's civil unrest now, like starting to be more civil unrest. Like it would benefit the man, I guess, for them to be, oh yeah, let's open back up.
Yeah, but that's not. So I agree with you in some ways, but that's not. I don't think that the CDC is in that pocket.
It depends on who is in charge of shit and whose pocket they're in.
Because the CDC is definitely about protecting and quarantining and all that kind of stuff. Because even our mopping is directly reporting and answering to the CDC in regards to the sanitary.
Right. In a hospital,
Yeah.
have to deal with it, but it's just that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying they are.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I gotcha. Yeah,
and, I don't know how. Like, I'm not into the shits enough to know if it's true or not. But conspiracy theorists or whatever, just people in general. Not even like conspiracy theorists, just like fucking people on my Facebook or whatever. Like, I are saying that. People, governors, I guess, are pushing to open states back up, like knowing that it's the fucked up thing to do because of money.
Well, I think
it also has to do with unemployment. It's something about if they say the state is open and you decide not to work, then they can cut your unemployment benefits. I'm like, that sounds about right. Of what a state would do to cut.
But see, here's the.
Just
because the state's open doesn't mean your job is there.
I'm sorry, what?
Just because the state's open doesn't mean your job is there.
Right. But I'm saying the state won't be responsible for your unemployment anymore. The state is not telling you can't work.
Right, but and I don't buy into that logic because if you've had to if Joe's gym has to close because of the coronavirus, and you're 3 months behind on your mortgage, and you just say fuck it, all your employees don't have jobs, but the governor opens the state up. What the fuck's that got to do with Joe's gym?
But you have to, because their gym can open now again.
But the gym's out of fucking business because it went bankrupt.
Right. So let me add some clarification because I think I see everybody's point of view here. Mm-hmm. So what Joe is saying is that the people that don't have to go to work are receiving money from certain institutions that are getting federal money, including the federal government directly, in order to stay home. If they open up and they have their job, then they can go back to work but be put in danger. And what Chris is saying, if you've already lost your job just because everything opens up doesn't mean that you will get it. He is also right, but those people, it won't affect their unemployment. The people that Joe was talking about and the people that Chris are talking about are different groups of people.
Yeah.
Those people will remain on unemployment. Joe's people will not.
And not everyone whose business is closed for now are actually out of business yet, or like, I don't know, you have to file for it or what, but some businesses are technically still existing.
Well, I think that some positions in general are going to be going away.
Oh yeah.
Like
I mean, there's
going away forever.
There's no reason. There's no reason for 400 people to be in an office anymore. There's not, because
there never fucking was.
Right, but Joe, you have to keep in mind the mindset was from before the internet that I've got to go to work. I've got to get up and go to work. Jimmy's late today, for his cubicle job. What's up, Jimmy? Just using Jimmy as a metaphor here, not Jimmy in particular. But for anybody catches any sort of feelings out there.
No.
But like that's what I'm saying.
I mean, like my
shit is that we're being forced to change the things we could have changed a long time ago that we just fucking haven't because people are old and stuck in their ways.
But no, Joe, I don't agree with that.
I don't either.
Because I don't think anybody was old and stuck in their ways to say. I mean, I'll give you an example. My company I work for has a corporate office in Nashville, the 5th floor of a building, and they have they have half of the floor. And they actually just moved another office into there, so it's even more crowded. I don't know. There's 200 or 300 people that work in this office. How many of those people are having to go into the office every so often to do stuff like our pricing team, because some of the computers stuff you can't do from home? But that's the only people that are coming. So what I'm saying is, and nobody thought about. I mean, it's just a thing. You go to work, and I think a lot of it is productivity. If I don't be able to look over there and see Joe at his desk, then I don't think Joe's working. Think about office space, or
right.
Yeah,
right. I also think for
people actually get as much, if not can get more done at home because they're not fucking forced to be in a fucking thing washed over.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that either, Joe. But I don't always vilify it, right? Like I don't think it's like these people like, no, I'm stuck in my ways, or we're not going to change. I think that sometimes, like the people just don't know until they know. Like they're not even thinking about that. And then now I think they're going to have to think about it, and that's going to adjust the way that people work from home. But talking to my wife, like, the place where she works pretty much let go of all of their PTAs, their physical therapist assistants.
Thanks for clarifying that, Mr. Acronym.
Well, yeah. So, I was talking to her about it, and she was like, they can't get jobs anywhere. She was saying, I don't know if that position is going to come back, because theoretically, like, all right, so let's follow this through. Just as an example, my wife sees, I don't know how many people she sees a day, so to speak. Whoa. 10 people, let's say 10 people, right? Now that now that we're under COVID, shit, I've been trying to do COVID anagrams like the whole time, but I can't think of a C for people. Well, fuck it. COVID patients, right? Because of COVID and patients being concerned about COVID, she's only seeing, let's say, 7. So when she was seeing 10 people a day, she needed a PTA. But now that she's seeing 7, she doesn't. So what's the over-under on that for the person that owns the business, right? Do we profit at the end of the day, $30 versus $25 if we have a PTA? When, obviously the physical therapist can handle the workload if it's only 7?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, like ultimately what I'm saying is, other than just people don't have to go into work, is that some positions won't exist anymore because a lot of positions or jobs in general are just made to be jobs so that people have jobs. I think a lot of things aren't fucking necessary, except that we need to keep people employed for money reasons. like fucking Star Trek, man. Like there is a point where like there's just gonna be less jobs than there are people. The whole quote unquote create job. That is exactly what the fuck it is. Like you literally need one fucking person probably to watch 10 self-checkout lines.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
I don't see a bank teller because I can do everything by myself online. So like that's where the UBI comes in. Like that's what people were talking about, universal basic income, is because like you just fucking need food and shit to circulate for people who don't need to work. It's weird to say that some people don't need to work, but like we just don't need some people to work. Not specific people, but just a percentage of the population doesn't have to do anything for the things to run.
Let me tell you something, Joe. There is a percentage of the population that's already doing that.
That's true.
That's sitting on their ass. And
larger percentage that doesn't have to be doing that.
So here's what's going to happen, Joe, in that situation where these people don't have to work. Let's say the three of us work in an office and they decide that they don't need me or Bobby anymore. So, Joe, you get to stay, but guess what you get to do? You get to do what you were doing, plus what they deemed that Bobby and I weren't doing that wasn't important. The part that was, you also get to do that. So now you're working twice or three times as hard for the same amount of money.
That's true.
Or we're sitting on our asses or finding a job somewhere making a lot less money outside of our skill set.
That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. Because that already happens.
Then tell me what the fuck you're talking about. I'm not following you.
Yeah, and Joe, turn up a taste because you're a little lower than the rest of us.
But make it sweet, not sour.
How about now?
There you go.
So what I'm talking about is
Perfect.
Corporate is already doing that, all right? With unlimited growth profit, we are already at the point where any person at any given job is getting paid proportionally less and working a lot harder than they were maybe 30 years ago. Just due to fucking inflation and shit alone, because there's only a certain percentage of money right out there. There's one lump sum of money of everything in a society. If it keeps shifting one way, it's coming from somewhere else. Right? Like, why is there fucking 20 checkout lines at a CVS and there's always only one or two cashiers? They're already doing that. Corporate is already doing the shit you're talking about. I'm already doing twice the work I am 10 years ago. Paperwork and all that shit that I used to have technicians and shit for. So, like, that's not even what I'm talking about. That's part of the problem. What I'm talking about is just certain jobs that doesn't actually need to be there because they're just made up things.
Tell me that job. In your line of work, can you think of that job?
Well, yeah, a lot of technicians can be taken over by robots because at one of my jobs there is a fucking robot, and it does better job than a technician for what it does. It doesn't replace everything a person does, but what it does do, it does what like three people do. I don't know if that makes any sense. So like a person can think and like answer questions and shit, right? But the manual labor part, I have a robot that does that. Like when I input shit in the computer, the fucking robot spits shit out that I need, right? So that replaces at least 2-3 people right there, and like that technology is fucking available.
Well, I think that I hear what you're saying, Joe. I think that some of
automation, I guess is what I'm saying. Factory jobs went away because they're robots. They're like even more could go away if we didn't have to keep people employed for the sake of keeping them employed.
But like, I don't know if thinking about my job, like,
oh, you can't get a robot to mop.
not yet. But like, but even in my job, I think about there are people, in that aren't directly putting mop heads to the floor, so to speak, that we could probably do without. But even that, and while I'll complain about that and those people to the day that I die, the mopping organization may be better as a whole for them. I think I get what you're saying, and I do think, like, I remember when I worked for Social Security, delivering furniture, and I would walk down a hallway of cubicles, and any given day there might be one person that was actually working. Everyone else was doing Farmville and Bejeweled.
Farmville.
Well, I mean, it was 16 years ago. Bejeweled was a big one. So like I used to think to myself, like, how the fuck are we a superpower? You know what I mean? Like, this is a federal government agency. Like, this is Social Security, and I just walk past 20 people that are trying to get their pigs right.
And also just to look busy if someone's watching them.
Yeah.
Like how many people, I don't know how many jobs you have, but definitely every job. I've been one of the people who've just tried to look busy to fucking not be in trouble. Right now at the hospital, it's like that even. There are fucking nurses and shit, depending on what department. Like if you're in ambulatory surgery, like you have to look busy or else you get sent home because you don't have it.
Chris, you're trying to get something in there, so to speak?
I lost it.
About the cubicles. I was on the
What's going to happen when cars can drive themselves? And is certain parts of technology?
I think we're way out in left field here because that has nothing to do with what's going on right now. I don't think we're going to come out of this and all of a sudden cars are going to be driving themselves and robots are going to be filing paperwork. I mean, Joe, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I'll go back to an old Outkast song and an interlude that said, "They say a computer can do my job better than I can do it," and that was in the '90s, right?
Yeah.
But they also told us, oh, man, paperwork's going to go away. Joe, how many pieces of paper do you touch every fucking day?
It's awful.
Okay. Goddamn.
The problem is I don't have to. It's people refuse to use the fucking computer. I could literally not touch a paper all day. The technology is there in my system already for me.
See, I would counteract that with a lot of our paper has gone away since when I first started mopping, and not one element of it makes it more efficient. In fact, it makes it more complicated. Everything takes longer. Everything fails more often. And a whole new team of people are hired to manage it.
It's maybe it's just the mopping department because it's definitely not like that for pharmacies.
Like
there's a lot less errors because no one is fucking handwriting shit. But when you get electronic stuff, like
see, but I think that we got to. What I'm saying is that, like, well, I mean, there's a number of points to what I'm making there, but like, there's because of this, it's because of this thing that has made this other thing go away. Now there's 13 more IT positions. You know what I'm saying?
I think some of those are arbitrary too, like just made up.
Oh, I would don't get me started. Chris, how was your Rona-Rom?
Oh boy, did you get that memo? So last Monday, after we got done with our recording, which seems to be our habit of late, I had to venture out to the world to go to Home Depot to buy foam. And Home Depot has changed several times since this is gone. Outside of needing groceries, that's probably it's one of the only places that's really open that I have gone to. But the first time I went there during this, it was, masks weren't a thing yet. Some people were wearing them, but they had, only a certain amount of people were allowed in the store. They had you lined off outside. Well, now it's like the last couple of times. It's just a fucking free for all. I mean, you don't have to wait in line for anything. It's but you have to wear a mask. So I needed a lot of foam, and I looked online. They said they're like 50-something sheets. So I go to the hole where they're going to be, get my big rolling cart, take it over there. Of course, there's 3 broken sheets, which looks surprisingly like the 3 broken sheets that were on the pallet that I had to have them pulled down off the top stock last time. So I walk up to a young man who is working, I guess, kind of watching the exit door, and stand appropriate distance apart, hold my phone out, and I said, "Hey, this isn't on the shelf. Can we look on the top stock?" So he takes 2 steps towards me, pulls down his appropriately worn mask, and talks to me. He looks like he might have been 22 years old.
Yeah.
And I just looked at him and shook my head. And long story short, I had to have people, it was on the top stock again. They got the pallet down. I happened to be parked right outside the contractor entrance because I'm a dick. And they just brought the pallet out to my truck, and we loaded 12 of them in the back of Kelly's SUV. And then I promptly chopped the ends off of, shoved in the truck, and went about my business. But no real shenanigans past that.
With all this stuff, with people doing silly shit, do you think it is a lack of education, a lack of thought, or lack of care? Like lack of care being there, only wearing.
I think people feel it. I think people think they're invincible.
Yeah, and I think that they're dipping into all those wells.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I've often considered myself to be invincible, but it's bigger than me. That's how I look at this. If it was just me that would get sick, I probably would have a very different stance than that. But if I bring this stuff home to my immune-compromised family, I feel very different about it. So
like the pull down his mask to cough. I think that's a complete thoughtless thing. I don't think he meant to do it. It's just that's an old habit and a new habit meeting each other for maybe the first time. Yeah. I think some people just don't care. They just wear the mask because they have to, like they're forced to, and then they don't. That's what
Right, like the people wearing it like jewelry. I did see someone in Walmart with what I'm sure was a legitimate Louis Vuitton print mask on in Walmart in Maryland, in middle of nowhere.
I mean, I've seen some colored ones, and I've seen some camel ones.
I've seen a number of. I saw one with Clifford the dog on it just this past week. Clifford the dog all over it.
That's
nerd shit though in real life. I've seen it on my feed, but I haven't seen fucking ninja mask or nothing like that yet.
So I will say this. So our my company is a big company, like 70,000 global employees, Fortune 500 company, and they're having meetings about how we get back to work, what that looks like for I work in the field. I don't have an office. I don't go to an office. Maybe twice a year I'm in a company facility. But what's that look? Are they going to send us all a box of masks? Because, I mean, they don't. I don't think anyone else. Joe, are they asking you to bring your own masks to work?
Not well. I work in a medical facility, so
I understand. Okay, maybe.
I don't know. I don't know what I don't know what it looks like at a grocery shop or a Home Depot.
Right. At Home Depot they all have on different masks, so I'm assuming that they're not giving me anything. But
I walk in and they hand me a mask.
Right. So I don't know. There's just a lot of variables to my job about what getting back to work looks like.
I mean, that's a fucking DSA. Reusing masks, man. I know people are doing it. So, and I know some people, there's no choice, but it doesn't fucking help. Because because you can't. It's hard to get masks. Or
what type of mask are you talking about?
A surgical mask.
Oh yeah, surgical mask.
I understand because that's just you just can't help it. But it's hard to get. So
yeah, they're intended for one time use.
Reusing shit. That's but
it would be like reusing medical gloves.
Yeah,
it doesn't work that way.
I did see a lady at Walmart wearing winter gloves, those ones that are they're really small, and you put them on and they're tight fitting. Yeah, she had those on, and it was 60 degrees outside. So
I haven't seen anyone wear water jugs on the head or nothing like that yet. But
I haven't seen any of that batshit crazy stuff.
I haven't either. But I haven't been in a super densely populated area either. I was looking at. Are you? I don't mean to cut you off, Chris. Were you complete?
Oh, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Mine was pretty much regular, and I chimed in during Joe's to kind of give most of mine. The only thing I will add is that in getting around, 50s and 60s seems to be the hot spot. Not even so much 70s and 80s.
Like the Big Bopper.
50s and 60s seems to be the danger zone.
Danger zone.
So take that for what you will. And also, I will say this: I have seen people talking about hazard pay recently, and I've seen people making statements about people in the medical field or first responders shouldn't be getting hazard pay because this is what they signed up for. And
okay, sign up for this.
I just want to go on the record from my opinion, from the janitorial side of things, is that no, they didn't. No, they didn't. A cop or a fireman or a nurse signed up to do. Let's take the nurse, right? Because that's the kind of the face that's on this thing, right? Mm. The nurse signs up to take care of sick people, 100%. The nurse signs up to take care of sick people with masks and medical gloves and all the appropriate PPE or personal protective equipment that she or he would need in order to be successful at that job. The nurse does not sign up for that to not have that equipment, and the nurse also does not sign up for that with the expectation that her family will be right in that medical room with her with no PPE doing the same job. They didn't sign up for that. And I'm speaking, of course, metaphorically. They're not bringing their families in, but they're taking this shit home to their families.
Yep.
And that's what they do not sign up for. And I hope they get every fucking nickel that they can.
And people think about nurses just like charge nurses or like ICU nurses, but the X-ray tech didn't fucking sign up for that shit. And the X-ray tech is in the hospital. You know what I mean?
It would be like a cop running into a let's make it very comic booky. It's a bank job. with armed robbers inside the bank. The cop did sign up to put himself in harm's way, or herself in harm's way, to stop that, but not to take the wife and kids in with him when he tried to stop it. That's not what he signed up for, or she.
Yeah, he signed up to fucking stop like a fucking bank robber. He didn't fucking sign up to stop the fucking Joker.
So, with that being said, Nerd Weeks. Oh, one more thing about the Rona Romp, because we haven't been eating out, so to speak, as much.
Poor job, Bobby. You should eat out more now that you're home more.
Yeah, I tell you. I mean, look, anniversary and birthday. Wow,
that's it?
No, I'm just kidding. Valentine's Day too, of course, Joe. But like,
Kwanzaa, Arbor Day.
So here's the thing.
Mother's
Day, yes. Here's the thing: is that we've been doing a lot more of home cooking, and we've been getting a little bit more experimental and trying things. And last night, my wife tried to make Outback cheese fries.
Like a online recipe, or like a bag of Outback cheese fries from?
No, like an online recipe.
Fridays have their fucking shits in a bag.
Correct. Online recipe, and I'll tell you what, it wasn't 100%, but it was damn near 96.5%. Like, it was close. Like, I think the only thing that was off was she had to do 3 batches of fries because it was a small pot, to deep fry them in. And the first batch was a little undercooked. The second 2 were great. And there's something, it didn't quite have the kick in the seasoning.
Close.
But it was fucking close. And I
like that. Go ahead.
I ate way too many. And I feel like I was just in the lazy river and got stuck in one of the tubes, and I'm wearing the tube around me right now. Is how I feel. I feel super fat, right? I feel fat as fuck right now. I woke up this morning and I looked over at her and I was like, I feel extra fat today, and like I just started like playing with myself, so to speak. But I'll tell you what, I feel satisfied too at the same time.
Yeah, I get that too, like the satisfied feeling, but like with immediate regrets. Like I weigh myself like regularly, but like so like it's official, like I'm up to 12 pounds since I've been eating at home more.
I tell you what, you look good though. That picture you sent, you look good. I mean, I know you don't like it. You like to look lean, but I prefer a bulky Joe. But you look good.
Band name.
A bulky, and you had to have the A in it. A bulky Joe.
A bulky Joe, yeah.
All right, Chris.
It wasn't like the fucking that fucking Chick-fil-A chicken that you try to make.
No, that shit was a disaster.
How many percent close to Chick-fil-A chicken was that?
2%. 2%. Not good. Not good at all.
Did you blame on the recipe? You guys never tried that shit again.
I definitely blame it on the recipe. Because she nailed these cheese fries. What else did we do recently? We had some home cooked pizzas that aren't great, but they're really good.
Were they trying to be something?
No. Just like trying some stuff out, and then what else have we done? We did bonefish bread that came out like 100%, tasted just like it.
That's like so much. Baking takes so much fucking work.
Yep. She did like these like strawberry tart things that I don't eat. I don't like fruits and vegetables in my pastries, but like the people, my wife and kid love them, and we've just been doing a lot of
donuts. That shit was awesome.
Yeah, they were good, man. Like it's been good. It's been good.
Pinkerton, you're out of the delivery area. You didn't get.
Yeah.
I got some donuts.
It's fine. We're doing okay over here. I promise.
So let's go the opposite way. Chris, how was your nerd week?
A lot of working in the shop, grinding in there. We're nowhere. Let me look. I think we're halfway. No, we're not. Because let's see. We have done 38 of those things so far, and we have 49 more to go. As of right now, the mythic pieces.
Congratulations on the.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Mind-boggling.
They look great all together. It's not going to look as great all split up into 100 different orders.
Most people got 2, but I'd say
stack like fucking 50 of them together. That shit
listen, people can buy as many as they want. The majority of people bought 2. Some bought 3. A couple bought 4, and actually very few singles. But we're already designing the follow-up piece once we ever get done with these. So,
And you're designing everything to be like have the same measurements, as in like to be modular, right?
correct.
All the magnets are in the same spot.
There's no magnets.
There's no magnets, but like all the dimensions are the same, so you can put things. They can build them like Lego blocks.
That's the plan. Yeah, so they could, if you want to stack them up, you can, or if you want to,
So
different pieces we're gonna make.
Come with like like just different looking, so you can put them all together into like one building with a variety of walls.
If that's what you want to do, sure. Yeah, that's people keep asking me for like, what am I? Like, you do whatever you want. I don't care. You don't. I'm not gonna tell you how to play with your toys or take pictures or whatever.
People forgot how to be kids, man. It's like, how do I play?
Yeah, I got a new tool that's a lot of fun, and Bobby, I think you would probably enjoy. I bought and I've had hot wire cutters before, but I bought for foam. But I ordered there's one called a Proxon. It's kind of it's a name brand. And I was looking on Amazon at it, and I've been looking at it for a long time. It's got all the measurements laid out. It's got a fence, a gate. It's got a circle cutter, all sorts of stuff it comes with. And then there's another company that makes. And it honestly may just be a clone of it, but it has a foot pedal for you control the heat on and off. And I didn't make anything with it other than a mess, but it's so much fucking fun to screw with.
Right.
And I think if you had a plan, it's so quick to cut stuff and cut it straight, and you can do crazy angles and bevels and all sorts of shit. And there's all sorts of like upgrade parts you can buy to do all sorts of even more crazy cuts and stuff. So it's $125, I think. So it wasn't super expensive, and it's a lot of fun. And I wish that I had that before, when I was making dioramas, before I had the equipment I have now. And
Right.
I think it's still gonna be handy, because like you could do a 45-degree cut on the side of a piece of foam to make two of them join up. I can't do that with my machine.
Right.
Quicker to use than like having to set up a whole fucking rig.
Yeah, if I just need one little piece or something, I mean, it's definitely going to be quicker. I mean, there's some things I want to do, like the fence that you slide against is kind of flimsy on one end. So I was reading online, people just raise it up and put a clamp on it, which some simple things like that. It was a lot of fun. I spent one afternoon, a couple hours, just literally just burning through a bunch of scrap. So. I watched some stuff. I watched the LA Originals documentary on Netflix about Mr. Cartoon, the tattoo artist. I don't know if you guys are familiar with
I haven't seen that.
I don't know if you're familiar with Mr. Cartoon or not, but
Let me know. Yeah.
well, he became famous, I'd say, in the 2000s as a tattoo artist for celebrities. He pretty much any rapper from the 2000s has a Mr. Cartoon tattoo. So Eminem, Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, Exhibit. If you name somebody, and then a lot of athletes too. So it was just an interesting story about how they came to be. I watched a movie called Spencer Confidential that is on Netflix that has Marky Mark in it and Post Malone's in it.
Perfect.
Well, he's a lifer in prison.
Oh, I was going to hope a homeless person.
Yeah. I watched the finale of Modern Family went off, so I watched the finale of that, and it was
series finale.
Yeah, it's over. You don't realize that shit was on for 11 years.
I mean, it sounds like. I was just thinking that it's over completely, because I thought there was one of those things that's going to keep going forever because it's been around.
Yeah. So that show's over, and it's like I'd put off watching the finale because it said it was a 2-hour finale. I'm like, fuck, that's a 30-minute show. I don't want 2 hours. That's 4 episodes. Well, it's an hour and then an hour of like interviews. So I watched the first hour. I'm like, okay, well, let's watch the second hour. And it starts as interviews. I'm like, oh, that's how that show ended? That's kind of trash. I don't know, just kind of a letdown.
It's hard to end shows, though.
It is. I almost wish they would just.
It's hard to
not
end
even
any of it.
What's a good show that like ended? That kind of show.
Oz, Breaking Bad.
So is Modern Family one arc, or is it episodic? I thought it was an episodic thing.
Oh yeah, it's episodic. I mean, it's the same characters, obviously, but
No, but I mean, like it's not like a cliffhanger on one episode to another. It's like
no, they're all self-contained. I mean, they might.
Those show like I guess have an over arc at the end, like Full House, they grow up and they have fucking Uncle Jesse has kids and shit, but like there's no real fucking just story.
Right.
So I don't know how to end something like that other than just another episode, right?
Right. The eventual
Everyone
spin-off.
moved out or some shit like that. Like Fresh Prince had a.
Dude, that just came to mind. Yes.
That's
with him standing in the empty house.
Yeah, like that's what I remember as a decent one.
Yeah.
I don't remember how Full House ended. I don't remember how Family Matter ended. I don't.
I feel like Cosby Show had a good ending, but I don't remember it.
Well, long term, it really didn't.
I did there.
No.
Long term. It definitely didn't have a good ending. Now we know what Cliff was doing in that basement all those years.
Yeah, I can't. I feel like I blacked out at a certain point. I woke up and it was over.
Yeah, I think a lot of people kind of had that feeling about it, for sure. And I saved this last for this last one for the end here because I watched The Irishman, Bobby.
Oh, I didn't like it. I can tell by your tone.
It's not that I didn't like it. In the famous words of an internet celebrity, it was fine.
Did you watch it, or were you working on something?
I was working, but I was watching. I mean, eyes were on it 90% of the time, as much as they would have been if I was sitting on the couch fucking with my phone.
Like you were doing busy work, not like something you have to think about.
Right, I was gluing shit together. I was putting gluing shit together. I wasn't in mind. But
so give me your critique.
So there's been a lot of movies over the years where they take a bunch of older actors.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was just the opening sentence.
yeah, that's great.
So cinema began in about 1830.
So there's been a lot of movies over the years. The one that comes to mind is like Space Cowboys, where they're like, oh, let's get all these old guys together for one more movie. And it just seemed to be that way, and it had so many elements of other movies. It's like Robert De Niro's character is like, is this the same guy from Casino or a different guy?
Whoa. What similarities did he share with the guy from Casino?
Dude, I don't know. It just, every time I saw him, I was like, that's it. It's the swagger, I guess. I don't know. I don't know, man. I mean, I like watching those guys. I like gangster movies.
It's just Expendables of gangster movies.
I didn't realize that it had the whole Hoffa thing either. I just somehow didn't know that. Which it'd be interesting to know. I mean, obviously, I don't know if there's a way to know if Jimmy Hoffa was as over the top as obviously
Pacino.
He's portrayed in this. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anybody's as over the top as Pacino is, but he's a what is he saying in Devil's Advocate? He's a tight ass. He's a sadist. What am I? Humanist. Maybe the last human. You know what I mean? I don't know if anybody's over the top that much, but he was an animated dude, Hoffa. Like he was a yeller and a like a screamer, got the people motivated. That type of passionate dude.
Right. And this is based on a book, and I'm assuming the book is a fictional tale of this guy in a retirement home telling the story of. So
it's
what happened to Jimmy Hoffa.
Well, but it's based on his story, like it's that dude's story, right? Like that's what he claims is the truth. There are many.
I never realized that.
Oh yeah, there are many mob guys that say he's full of shit, but that is his truth, I guess I should say.
My biggest takeaway from that is I hear you paint houses,
dude. So, I love it.
I do too.
I love that, and I loved. You tell him, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah. I don't have any. I can't see any reason why that needed to be a 3 however long hour movie.
I still haven't heard one critique of it, other than Robert De Niro's the same character as what he was in Casino. But then I asked for one example, and I couldn't get that.
I don't have an example. I'm just telling you that it kind of felt like a retread of a lot of other movies kind of put together.
It's like when you.
It didn't seem like anything original to me.
It's like when you say The Rock is the same character in every movie.
Because he is. Well, maybe that's the case. I don't know. It like, I guess that's the best critique I'll give you is it just seemed like a rehash of a lot of other things. It didn't seem like there was much original about it.
I don't know, man. I don't know what movie. I mean, other than the fact that it stars those people,
And maybe that's it, that I've seen those people in so many things over the years playing, let's be honest, if they're not similar characters.
Well,
I mean, Joe Pesci
yeah.
playing a gangster can only go so many. Yeah, there's not a lot of depth in that.
Yeah, but I mean, he was also the guy in Home Alone. You know what I mean? Like
A Weapon.
he was also the guy. Yeah, Lethal Weapon. What's My Cousin Vinny? Like I don't know. I mean, whenever they're together in a Scorsese movie, which this is the third time, like they're or fourth time because they were in Raging Bull, but they weren't mob guys. They definitely are in that mode, but it's I don't. Other than it being in the same genre, it's almost like from the outside looking in, or just listening to it, it's like well, I didn't like True Grit. Well, why? Man, I don't know. All the saloons and revolvers on their hips and cowboy hats. I've seen it too many times. Do you know what I mean? It's like, well, it's a Western, so it's going to have those components. Now, saying that it's long, I get that. Like it's long. It's long as fuck, and maybe it could have been shorter. But I let me, so to speak, this beforehand. I enjoyed its length. Are you guys there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Phew, I was and then the other the other thing is
either I cut out or you cut out for like 15 seconds.
Oh, okay. And then the other, so you didn't hear anything I just said?
I heard no, not really.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry.
Then the only other thing I would say is that some of the de-aging obviously shows, right?
It does, and the one scene where he's beating up the guy at the grocery store.
That's the one. That's the one.
They should have just used the body double and put his face on him.
That looks like a 70-year-old man fighting.
Yeah.
That's the one that stuck out to me too. That was my big criticism of that one. But yeah, no, I'm sorry. I mean, it's a big fucking commitment. It's a 3-hour commitment. So
well, that's why I mean, Kelly and I talked about. She's like, I don't want to watch this. I said, all right, fine. I'm gonna sit here on this stool with headphones on and listen to it and watch it. And away we went. I mean,
so I'm sorry to hear you didn't care for it.
It's not that I didn't care for it. I mean.
You don't regret watching it?
I don't regret watching it.
Oh, okay.
I'm not mad about it. I'm not like, God damn it, Right.
It's just great.
It was fine. If it's on and I'm in the room, I'll probably sit down and watch some of it. But I don't think I'll ever cue it up again.
Gotcha.
So.
Gotcha. I just want to go on record again. Just say it was my favorite movie of last year, without a doubt.
I know. That's why I was so hesitant to bring it up.
No. But I love hearing a fucking. You know what I mean? Like. To me, that's much more interesting to have a conversation where two people don't see the same movie the same way than it is to hear an echo chamber of everybody saying how great or shitty something is. Yeah, me anyway.
Sometimes I think that's why you are so opposite, polarized against what other people feel about things, because for the conversation's sake. I may be wrong.
No, yeah, I don't know. I do. I think it depends. Like. So there's been plenty of times where I've been in the echo chamber, like Deadpool, I was in the echo chamber. Infinity War, I was in the echo chamber.
Great name for a band.
Echo chamber, dude, that is a great name for a band. There's plenty of times where I'm in it. I'm just, dude, there's sometimes where I hate to fucking talk about how I feel about something because I know it's going to be like, oh, fuck, if I say this, like if I'm at work or something. If I say this, it's going to lead to fucking 20 minutes of me having to defend my position. And I'm not even worried about it. You know what I mean? Like that. So like there's plenty of times where I don't want to talk about something because it's not in the echo chamber. But I don't know, man. I don't feel like I know I get that a lot. But like, I mean, I don't feel like I'm that way on most things. It's just these little key things that come along where like Mandalorian, I don't think it's amazing. I think it's fine. I think it's good. Episode 9, I didn't think was good. I think it's bad.
Yep.
Last Jedi I think is great, and other people hate it. So there are times where it happens, but then then there's always the Deadpool's, Infinity Wars, Rogue Ones, where I'm definitely in. I mean, I think even Solo, people were like, after they went and saw it, they were like, man, that was really good, and I was like, oh, damn it, like I don't, I think it's okay. Like. I don't know. I don't think that I don't. I'll say this. I don't consciously attempt to be a contrarian.
Okay, that's fair.
It just happens to be that you have opposite opinions a lot of times with people.
See, so here, now I got the opposite opinion of you, Joe. It's the word a lot. It's the word a lot of times.
Is it a lot of the times?
Is it?
I'm asking.
I don't think so.
Because like me and you are on the same page on a lot of stuff. You know.
Yeah.
So I don't find that. But that there is a. I guess you do have a reputation of it, but like,
100%.
I personally don't, because like we do agree on a lot of things.
Yeah,
Other people don't agree on, like we both love 8. You know.
Yeah.
I know people don't.
Right.
So.
Clone Wars. Like everybody loves Clone Wars, and I'm right there with them. You know, so like I don't know.
Oh, sorry. Look, I'm gonna let you finish, but I did watch Clone Wars. So.
Wait, is 12 out yet?
Yeah, it's out.
No, 12's not out. 11's out.
No, 12
right?
came out this morning.
Today?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'll be watching it later.
I thought it came out on Friday.
It does, but it's May the 4th be with you day.
Well, fuck me running. Okay, I wish I had known that. I would have watched it this morning.
Well, we'll talk about it next week, because Joe hopefully will have caught up.
I will watch probably all of it like within the next 2 days.
Okay.
And one other thing I watched, there's a show that comes on NBC called Good Girls. I think I've mentioned it before. It's about these 3 women who basically get caught up with this gangster, and they're making counterfeit money, and it's pretty good. I like it, and normally end up just kind of catching it over the summer as it, is filled up. But I've been just kind of watching it as it comes on Hulu, and the season finale was last night. So
is it a comedy or is it?
No, it's an hour-long drama, whatever.
Nice.
But I like it. I think it's good. But Matthew Lillard's in it, who played Shaggy in the Scooby-Doo movie. So, it's a quality piece of work.
Right, of course.
A lot of things in the 90s, man.
He was in 13 Ghosts.
Yep, he was in Hackers.
Hackers was good. In my mind.
It's not. I mean, it was.
Okay.
I tried to watch it again, like maybe a few years ago, and it got off because that's not how it works.
Oh, right. In my mind's eye, it was good. I saw it in the theater with my dad. I think we were like at the beach or something, and like it was raining, and we just needed to see a movie, and it was like the only one that we had any interest in seeing. And
I'm only happy when it rains.
I love that song.
Yeah.
But I'm only happy when it's come. I've known so many people that song fits too.
But I remember walking out of there with fond, you know what I mean? Like, oh, that was good.
Yeah. Don't go back. Don't go back.
Right. I think I've heard somebody else say that before too, because of the same exact reasons. Like,
like certain things just like you just find out, like it's just technology, man. That's just not how it works. Like so it doesn't hold up.
Right. Anything else, Chris? Or are you wrapping up?
No, that'll do it.
What about you, Joe?
What do you think of Star Wars? The Clone Wars? Is it still good?
Yeah, I've enjoyed it, and damn, I'm aggravated that I did not know it was coming out. Fuck, I would have watched it this morning.
Wait, is it because you wanted to watch it for the show, or do you want to watch?
No, I just was interested to see how they wrapped it up.
Okay. That's what I want to know.
But it's pulling at the heartstrings a good bit. It's almost kind of hard to watch, the way it's all coming together.
Yeah, that last arc, man.
I mean, it's Order 66, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So
in the Siege of Mandalore, like it's all. We'll talk.
You never if you only watch the movies, you don't know much about Mandalore at all.
Correct.
So like, I don't know. I guess it's for. It means
Actually,
more. I guess
if you only watch the movies, you wouldn't even know what Mandalore is.
I mean. Well, did they ever mention Boba Fett?
I don't think so.
Boba Fett and the prequels, they have to have, right?
They mention his name, but they don't mention Mandalore.
Really?
I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I would bet a dinner on it.
Oh, way to bet a dinner on a quarantine.
Safe bet, you know what I mean?
I bet you $1 million when I win the lottery.
Yeah.
But yeah, So yeah, I guess Mandalorian. You really learn about before the Mandalorian show. It's Clone Wars, and I guess books, but I don't fucking read Star Wars books.
Right.
And I would start with Coruscant Nights.
Yeah, I heard that's a pretty good book series.
But I don't think that word is actually mentioned in the movies ever.
Hey, you did better. That sounded better than last week.
It's that phlegm.
Yeah, that sultry phlegm.
I didn't know that you had it. Like, did you just carry that shit with you, or you just brought it with the show?
What?
The fucking trumpet.
Dude, it sits by my desk.
Perfect.
It's family fun.
Like a little mascot.
I guess.
You terrorize your family with it? Just randomly?
I do. I try to play it every day, at least for a few minutes, but I've gotten behind. So,
Joe, how was your nerd week?
You know how I'm late to everything because like I'm a trendy person. I watched all of Tiger King, including the last episode of the interview.
I still haven't watched the interview. I couldn't make it.
It's fun enough. I mean, I watch it in the car while I drive. So
Right.
Interesting enough because you do. I mean, you get instead of just a director's perspective of footage of these people, you get them talking to somebody, so you get to see the point of view more, or like you get to, just hear them talk is different than just watching them on film. I didn't know the person missing the arm, get Tiger bit off the arm, is transgender. I didn't know that they are a he apparently.
Yes, they identify as a male.
Correct.
Yeah, and he wasn't mad. Like the interview was like, were you upset they kept calling you a she? She's like, no. The other people are more upset for me than I am.
So if you are a woman and you decide you're going to be transgender and you have a she shed, what does it become afterwards?
Oh, what?
A she shed. You're not familiar with this? Instead of a man cave, it's a she shed.
I've never heard of that.
I often forget you guys don't have terrestrial television because there's a State Farm ad about this woman. Her she shed is burning down because it got struck by lightning, and she says they burnt down my she shed.
Wow.
I'm gonna find it on YouTube and send it to you guys right now. Sorry that you're unplugged.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm
not sure what. Dude, imagining me as a woman is funny. It's very funny. I don't know why. It's like I'm just thinking about it in my head. Like I wouldn't be hot. I wouldn't be sexy. I wouldn't be like elegant or graceful or like, or especially caring and nurturing. Like all the things that I think of immediately when I think of women. I guess
a woman about you at all.
I guess I would drink, so in that way I'd be like my mom.
Wine? You drink a lot of wine.
Yeah, there you go. I'd have to switch.
I just sent that to you guys.
I'd have to switch to a glass with stems, though. I feel like
you don't drink. Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, you have to switch to like bottles of alcohol instead of boxes of alcohol too. I feel like.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe I could be a white trash like version.
I quite enjoyed the Tiger King. Like I feel like the whole lot should just burn. Like all those people are awful. Like
awful.
Some of the employees are fine. They just like life has not been kind to them.
Mm-hmm.
But all the Carol Baskin and fucking the other guy who's in charge now, like they're all fucking just awful human beings. It seems like
it does seem that way.
And that like fat guy with a weird long haircut that fucking rode off into the sunset on the jet ski. I'm like, what the fuck? Too Rocky? What the fuck is that about?
Oh, there's more. They'll do another season of that shit.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
And then the hitman guy, I was like, that guy. There is something scary about that guy.
Agreed.
Why is he in the bathtub?
Yes, why is he in the bathtub?
With a do-rag on.
I don't understand. There's a lot of things I don't understand about that show, but I understand why it's so popular. Like, it is a train wreck that you want to watch, but like, I just feel bad for the fucking animals. Because like, I guess they kind of mention it, but they don't really explore the fact that like a lot of them have been just fucking shot and killed and fucking euthanized and shit.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And big bred in captivity and shit.
I mean, I think it's actually got a whole bunch of like groups like now looking into them pretty seriously.
But the problem also is I fucking can't, like, nothing wrong with animal rights. Ideal. Oh, I don't even know. There's nothing wrong with animal rights. Like, definitely animals shouldn't be fucking caged and tortured. I don't even go to regular zoos because I don't agree with that shit.
Right.
But I also am not a fan of PETA.
Right. That's the extreme.
That's also a problem because, it's straying from one extreme to the other. And also, they're fucking animals too. They're fucking hypocrites.
Do you remember Jimmy Seafood, what they did?
That sounds familiar.
All right, so you're familiar with Jimmy's, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so for the listeners, Jimmy's is like a famous crab house in Baltimore. And PETA put up a billboard in the city limits that said, like, don't eat me, I'm not food, blah, blah, blah. It had a picture of a crab on it. So Jimmy's put up like a billboard that was like identical and said like something like, but if you change your mind, come to Jimmy's because I'm also super delicious.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. That was pretty funny.
Yeah. As Peter's, like, I feel like they're not, I don't know. At least you don't hear about them as much anymore. There was a while where you hear about them all the time.
Agreed.
So like maybe they're like less influential, hopefully.
Agreed.
All these fucking big cats people, and they talk about the big cats, but you see that they have all kinds of animals. They call them
right.
cats.
Right.
They have fucking chimpanzees and shit.
Yeah, dude, that was my favorite part.
Really bad. Like fucking primates are like really close to being people, man. Like,
don't go close to the cage.
Or you get your fucking arm ripped off.
All right.
And you see, I can't believe they got shot on footage.
I know.
That's fucking crazy.
But what about that drip when he put on the EMT jacket real quick? Did you notice that?
Oh, yes, that was crazy. Like, why?
I mean, I'm not checking your closet, Joe. I don't know what your life's like. So,
well,
but I'm going to assume you don't have a. Oh man.
Costumes, but not. I don't impersonate. That's the difference between putting on a costume and impersonating something.
Did you do anything else, Joe?
We watched Tron and Tron Legacy last night.
Dude, how does Tron hold up?
Tron does not hold up.
Ugh.
I like if you just put your mind though at 1982, that shit is amazing.
Right.
Like, like just the visuals of it, but like it doesn't hold up, not at all. Like even the stories, like real basic, and some of it don't make too much sense.
Right. I loved Legacy too.
I love Legacy too. Because Chris hasn't watched either, so we're watching back to back. And like Legacy, like it's great. Like the visuals are great, the directing is great, the costume designs are great, the story they made a story that doesn't make too much sense into a story that does. Like that, there's no reason why Tron took as long as it did. Like the story wise, it's these guys went this building and then downloaded the file. That's the end of the story.
Right.
Basically.
Right.
Like Tron Legacy had a lot more depth to it, and I love those fucking costumes and fight scenes. And
then Daft Punk did like the score to it.
Yeah, I mean they were in it.
Yeah.
They were the DJs.
That's right.
Like, are those real Daft Punk? I'm like, I'm pretty sure they have to be. It's a big budget movie, and if you like used a Daft Punk impersonation, I'd probably get sued for that.
Yeah. No, that was I enjoyed it. I've been meaning to go back and watch Tron again since I saw Legacy, but I just.
No, I mean, it helps. Chris has said, like, it's not great, but, like, it makes Legacy better, especially watching back to back. And then you get, like, I mean, she doesn't get it, the nostalgia feels, but I get the nostalgia stuff that's put in, because when you watch one and you watch the other, it's like, oh, it's the same people in the same scene. Like, it is Jeff Bridges and it is Tron, the same actor.
Right.
The lady behind it, I think she's dead or something in the movie, but yeah. So that was good.
Nice.
And yeah, and I like Jeff Bridges. Oh, the de-aging. We were talking about de-aging earlier. That does not hold up in Tron Legacy though.
I don't even remember it.
Like, well, you don't, because when you watch in 2010, it was great CG, but now you're in Uncanny Valley. When you watch the de-age Jeff Bridges, you're like, oh, that is not a real person. That just looks really close to real person enough to where it's really creepy because it's not a real person.
Right.
You should watch it. We watch it because you have Disney Plus, and we watch it on your Disney Plus.
Right.
They're both on there. I mean, you should just cue those scenes up just to see how like weird it is, and see like the cusp of the technology coming, because it was really good. And if you like look at it, it is really good. It's just not perfect.
Right.
And yeah, it's a very Matrixy feel to a lot of it, which I like.
Yeah, no, I get that.
And I mean, it was real popular for a minute. Tron Legacy, like,
I feel like Tron was a fucking a movement almost in its time. Like I remember like as a kid seeing like Tron T-shirts and shit still when I was like a kid. You know, like
yeah, I mean, like it's different. It's very different. Like I said, you have to put your mind at 1982. Like,
Right.
it's very different from anything else.
right.
So it's when something is like groundbreaking, like it's gonna have a status.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't hold up, unfortunately.
Anything else?
Not to me, anyway. I don't know. You guys aren't plugged into the gaming, so. Well, The Last of Us 2. Okay, you guys know The Last of Us.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard about this.
Yeah, The Last of Us was an amazing game. I love it. I bought a PS4 to get the remastered version. I got The Last of Us version edition of the PS4. Story, characters are fucking great. You know, I keep telling you to try to play it, Bobby, because the story is that good.
Right.
So, like, I think really highly of it, because I don't recommend a lot of things to you, because I know how you have specific tastes.
I'm particular.
But so The Last of Us 2 story has been leaked a week ago or so, and people are pissed. So there's this two parts to this story. One, that the story is leaked, so like there are some people that say it's wrong, you shouldn't leak stories, that, you know, it's intellectual property. But then it is apparently supposedly from a disgruntled employee, and that Naughty Dog, which is the company the studio that makes The Last of Us 2, it has actually been known to treat its employees badly. It was a pay dispute. Apparently, this company like really grinds their
Gears.
employees. Yeah, and like, so, like, they don't have any senior staff, and like people working like 50, 60 hours a week and shit. And now like with the as soon as the quarantine happened, the game has actually been finished, but they put the game on indefinite hiatus. So like what that means is because people get royalty and stuff, or like get bonuses depending on the game sales, and people need money now, but
Right.
the game delayed indefinitely, so people aren't going to get paid for indefinitely. And then the leak happened, and then the game is pushed to release like now. So I don't like the speculation, but that's part of why they think it was leaked. But the second part of the story is the leaks are awful. Like,
Oh, really?
like the game, like there's so much backlash right now. Like including myself, like people who love the game are shitting on Naughty Dog for letting them pick in the story.
Ironically, it's usually the Naughty Dog shitting that gets him in a pickle.
Man, but so now that like I did definitely have taken a huge shit. People are canceling pre-orders. I think the game might tank. I mean, the name itself might still sell well. We don't know, but like it might tank now because of all the leaks. And like and Sony, and because Sony has their hands in this game, and Naughty Dog are like basically attacking everybody for the leak, and like are just filing copyright against channels like not erroneously, fraudulently. Like anyone who's basically talking about the leaks are like getting strikes on the channel.
Wow.
And then now this, this is a developing story. Every day is news. Like, but like all these like YouTubers are like banding together to like fight back because it's like, you know, false flagging.
That's interesting, man.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of shit going on. But like I don't. Are you guys ever gonna play Last of Us or Last of Us 2, or have you?
I would play. Do you have it? I mean, do you have it on disc?
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah, if you let me borrow it, I'll play it.
Okay. Then I won't spoil the story. I'll let you play it, and then I'll tell you where to go with the story.
Okay. Yeah. I will make a conscious effort to play it. I could go for a video game. I have Mass Effect Andromeda here to play. But
no.
So so that's the thing. Everybody says it's terrible. I know it's going to be a long, lengthy, involved game, and I'm like, it's like seems daunting to put it in, so to speak.
Yeah, a lot of these big companies are bad because a lot. It's the same with Bethesda, the company that's literally in Bethesda near our house. Like a lot of these beloved companies have fucking gone to the shitter because they still have the name, but like they're being bought up by big companies and being gutted of their actual like talents and creators. Like Bethesda was a beloved company, and they could do no wrong a few years back. Like now they're doing all kinds of microtransaction shit like Electronic Arts because I think they're owned by somebody. Blizzard, of World of Warcraft and Diablo and Overwatch was a very beloved company. It's going the same way, like fucking just nickel and diming people, and it's going down. This Naughty Dog, they're going a different way. They're going apparently too woke, and the VP is gone too woke apparently, and it's pissing people off. But like all these big companies that like have been respected and beloved and making great things are now all trash.
Huh.
Yep. Except like the only good guy I can still think of that's still a good guy and still beloved is CD Projekt Red, which makes Witcher and I think Red Dead Redemption. But they're a Nordic. It's somewhere in Europe. They're still doing a good job and treating the gamers right.
Gotcha.
So I'll take my physical copy of a disc of a game so I can give it to you.
Okay, sounds good. You mind if I jump in?
Yeah, I think that's all I had.
Okay, I finished up my little Sith temple diorama.
Yeah.
Which performs very well. Like in terms of like holding the characters and all that, works very well. I'm working on the next one that I can't talk about yet because I haven't put out the Patreon contest yet for it. Let's see what else I did. I watched a documentary, Joe. I started one on Netflix. It was about the one-child law in China.
Uh-huh.
It's fucking terrible and tragic, but it's a good watch. And listening to people talk from China of all the different, the people that are interviewed, like levels of kind of, how do I word this? Commitment to the state was fascinating. Fascinating.
Like indoctrination and propaganda, right?
Yeah, and I mean, but I mean, seeing the different levels of it. The people that are the artists that some of the artists that like did art, about it the whole time as like a protest.
Mm-hmm.
All the way up to people that were doing abortions and feel like they did the state's work, and people that did abortions and now feel like they're going to hell.
Yeah.
So it was interesting. It was a good one. I can't remember the name of it. I would imagine it would come up under one child law or probably even under China in the search option for Netflix. I can't remember. Yeah, it was on Netflix. I watched a documentary on. I talked about the Unabomber one last week, right? I watched another one on this. Oh, it was fucking fascinating. It was like on this. I think it might have been called Voyeur. So it's on this guy who apparently this happened years and years and years ago, but a journalist discovered him. He said that he owned a hotel and used to like watch people have sex in the hotel. He built like spy rooms and everything, like
That's uncommon.
like above the hotel, rooms, and like had vents that he could see in and out of, supposedly, and a car. Like one time there was like these people that he really wanted to watch have sex, and they turned the lights off. So he got out of his spy room, got his car, drove it up next to the room, and like turned the headlights on. Like, went back to the spy room to watch.
Wow.
And he was annoyed that they were complaining about the guy that had his headlights on. So he's an interesting character, but he goes on to tell this story where he basically lies about having been involved with there was a drug dealer. The drug dealer was talking about selling drugs to kids. He left the room. His son had a drug problem. He went down into the drug dealer's stash, flushed it down the toilet. The drug dealer came back. His girlfriend was there. The drug dealer's like, "Where's my drugs?" And she's like, What are you talking about?" And he, of course, thinks that she did it, and he kills her. And he's coming forward with this story now. and now like he's been implicated, right? Like he's implicated himself in this whole thing. So then it starts to become a thing, like because this guy is doing this book on him, and all of this stuff is coming, and like, but some of the shit starts to not add up. And the Washington Post eventually exposes that this dude's just fucking lying.
About everything?
So that's what I couldn't figure out. And I was working on a diorama while I was watching it, so it's 100% my fault. But I can't figure out if he was lying about all of it or only a portion of it. The murder bit, basically.
We're definitely in a room, though, I assume.
So I don't. That's the thing is I'm not sure what's bullshit and what's not anymore. But one of the things that I found interesting was like, now people are calling, the people are saying like sending him death threats, because they're like, I stayed at this hotel during these years or whatever. People are coming out about the family of the girl that was killed, or actually no, I think that's because that's all bullshit. But I mean, cops are coming out, people that like violence against women, those groups are all coming out. They're coming for this guy's head, right?
Right.
So he has this like car collection, like model cars, toy cars, whatever. I want to say he has them in details too, but I can't be 100% sure on that. And when they're like, well, what do you think about the people's reaction to all this? He's like, I can't believe they put information out about my cars. People know I have this $1 million collection now. They're going to come. It's like, dude, nobody can.
Wow.
It's just how out of touch he is.
Yeah. I mean, people who are really self-centered.
Yeah. I finished Clone Wars. Okay, I can't.
Does it change the rating? Is it better, worse?
As a whole, so I would say that the first arc is a 8, the second arc is a 6, maybe to me, and then the third arc is a 10 out of 10. Fucking perfect, fucking amazingly perfect. Like, if it caught me, I watched. Had I finished it out tonight, I probably would have teared up. Like. I can't wait to talk about it next week. You'll have to forgive my memory of it at that point, but
it's so great. By this time next week, I won't remember.
Yeah. Well, like I'll remember beats and stuff, but I won't. Like if you're like, no, that part in episode 1 that I saw fucking 12 weeks ago, I'm gonna be like, yeah, dude, I don't know. But yeah, and then I watched episode 9 this morning. I got up at like 3 something this morning. I'm not sleeping well these days.
Why watching 9 all of a sudden?
It came out on Disney Plus.
Oh.
So I finished up the Clone Wars, and then it came up as suggested next, and I was like, sure, why not? While I was like cleaning up the kitchen and stuff. And like I feel the same way about it. Like there's stuff in there that I really, really like. There's moments in there that I even love. But it's just how they handle Ben and her in the last 15 minutes of that movie that kills it for me. When X gives it to you is a big downer for me. Let's see what else, if anything. I don't think so. So let's get started. A little bit of notes this week. For one, let's start with this Hot Toys thing that Chris brought up. Hot Toys revealed a picture of clone troopers from the neck down, or chest down, I guess. And then it had a Clone Wars logo on it. So Hot Toys is doing Clone Wars stuff. Now, my question, Chris, to you and to Joe, do you think that this will be animated in style like they did with Spider-Verse?
I don't know. I'd say that's what I think that's probably what we'll end up getting. Honestly don't know. I don't know if they'll do it like the Marvel Legends do, but I don't think I need any of it, to be honest. That's just me.
Right. So, like, what do you think, Joe?
I mean, isn't there like Cody and Rex Hot Toys?
Yes,
and in the regular style.
Well, there's Cody, not Rex, because Rex isn't in the movies.
Oh, so okay, so right, so it's from the movie, even though it's okay. So I don't know. It'll be weird for them to be cartoony.
But like they just did these Spider-Verse ones that are cartoony.
There's no reference of not cartoony Spider-Verse.
Right.
Well, there's no reference of Ahsoka live action.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know. Look what the Marvel Legends. Black Series did with that though.
Right.
They made them more of a realistic looking.
I would love that.
I would think. I mean,
for the Rebel stuff.
If it's not toys, then like I would think that's where they would go because that's where you learn. Because otherwise, you would just buy a fucking, I don't know, regular ass, figure.
I hope it's real worldy, but I'll tell you, I will be shocked if it is. I will be shocked. I think that they're probably going to be cartoon style, but I'll tell you,
no better though. I don't think do you think the average Hot Toys collector is one who wants a cartoony style?
I don't know. I mean, they're doing the cartoony. The only reason why I think this is because they're doing the cartoony style Miles Morales and Gwen's pool or Spider Gwen right now.
Right, but like that's just what they look like.
Right, but that's what I mean.
But like Star Wars has movie counterparts, and Clone Wars is just an offshoot of the main thing.
Right. Well, Spider-Man has movie counterparts.
Not those characters.
Well, not Ahsoka.
Only Ahsoka, though, I guess.
No, Asajj.
But we have, I guess, because like we have a quarter scale Asajj coming out.
Yeah.
And there are Asajj statues before that. This is a 6 scale statue.
Yeah, we have a rep, but not within the show. I guess not like, you know what I mean. There's not like an official live action look of Ahsoka or Asajj, or a ton of other Sabine. I mean, not Sabine, Satine. Like or Bo Katan. Would be another one that would be of interest to me, but I don't know. I'm curious to see what they do. I think I'm probably in for the Ahsoka either way.
Just to have one?
Huh?
Just to have one?
Yeah, like I love that character so much. Like I wouldn't put her with the. So that's the thing. I would put her up in my office or something. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So I mean that was it. Nothing really else to it. I just thought it was interesting. Let's see what's next. So we have TFcon Toronto was pushed back to September. Not that this is big news. Most of us probably should have saw this coming, but who thinks that this is going to happen in September?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's happening anytime soon.
I don't think there's going to be any. I don't think there's going to be any cons this year. That's just my opinion.
I agree.
Different. I don't know about cons in general. What's going to happen to con culture from now on?
You know what people don't think about with that, because everybody thinks about how it affects our fun and enjoyment and shopping and all those sorts of things. I would imagine that there's a fairly wide swath of retailers, and not just the little guys, but I would say like TF Source definitely, that relies on the big convention sales once or twice a year to do what they do.
I mean, I can imagine like Agabus and
yep.
the 5% crew and. Some of the bigger people that are at these things they're probably going to feel a little bit of burn because that's a big chunk of, I don't know this, but I would imagine it's for them to haul all that shit and set it up. It's worth their while,
Right.
So that may be 30-40% of their revenue for the year. I don't know.
Right. I'm with you. I think that it's probably very significant to what they bring in annually.
My question is, so back in the day when I started going to anime cons and shit, like I would save up so I can shop at cons, right? So if I knew there was no cons anymore, I might not have done that. I might have just bought throughout the year instead. So my question is, do you think people, do that? They save up just to go buy stuff at TFcon, and if there's no TFcon, then they would still spend the money, but just not there?
So I know that TFcon Orlando got canceled, and there was a push to buy from those retailers online. And I several people that I know bought, stuff they would have bought at a con, they'd save their money up for that. They had bought from the retailers that would have been there.
Yeah.
So just getting that line of communication up.
The losses wouldn't be as high as you would think.
Possibly.
If the communications was there. Because, like, no one's going to TFcon that doesn't already know about third party and where to get it, right?
You'd think.
Yeah, but I do think that there's probably a large percentage of casual purchases that happen that don't normally. You know what I mean? I've bought shit at cons just because I'm like, I'm here. I got a little bit of money on me. I like having things.
Yeah, I mean, same for me. But I don't ever at this point. I don't go to any sort of con to look for stuff. I just happen to be there.
Right. Yeah. Same. But like I would imagine that like you were saying, Chris, like with them having to do all that every year, some of them twice a year, to Canada and to the American one, that to justify those expenses, Unless it's just to keep them competitive in the market, I would imagine that it's going to have a large impact on these vendors. I mean, especially people, I would imagine that it's even having an impact on the bigger guys, but I would say probably even the smaller guys like Hanny, like Toy Dojo, like that lane, Captured Prey, obviously, unfortunately they closed their doors recently, but that kind of mid-tier, that is probably it probably hurts significantly.
I would imagine so.
The reality of things is like some of them are not going to be around.
Yeah.
I mean, like when anytime that there's a money crunch, with when we have like recessions and shit, like unnecessary stuff. At first, go restaurants and jewelry stores, and this is one of those things that people probably won't be spending as much money on, and like there's not enough pie to go around.
Yeah.
Like it's already a niche thing, like you talk about on your video, Bobby. Like it's a niche hobby, a niche thing to buy these things and to begin with.
Right.
And for there to be too much competition, there's just not enough to go around.
Right. I don't know, but yeah, I think it's gonna have an impact on these retailers for sure. That would be my guess.
And like other than Capture Prey, is anyone else talking about closing up?
Not that I've seen.
No, and listen, that Captured Prey has nothing to do with what's currently going on.
I mean,
Orson's been. I mean, he's been out. He's been basically selling off his inventory for a while now.
Okay.
He hasn't been taking any new orders or anything.
Yeah, I mean, like we talk about buying stuff and shit still. So like I said, maybe, and you're getting orders for dioramas. So like people in the nerd community has money. So I guess people are still buying toys.
Trump check.
I haven't gotten my shit.
Yeah, it sucks.
Oh, if you don't have it, it's going to be June. I did read that if you didn't get it in the first batch.
Okay. I mean, that's all.
Now you know.
So
like that's fine.
The only other note I have here is, what does prequel even mean? So there's been an animated Transformers prequel movie announced.
I saw that.
Prequel to what?
Is the question.
Right.
But they say it's not to the Bayverse, which they also say includes Bumblebee.
So is a prequel of the 86?
I think that's what everybody is got their fingers crossed for, but like I think we're all like, there's no fucking way. I hope, but
I mean, if they won't even fucking do a Transformer movie based around Transformers, how are they going to do a prequel? Because there's going to be no humans in that whatsoever.
Right. Well, it's animated. It is animated.
That's true. They can do that.
So it says this is from Saber.
Well, there are no theaters anymore, but it's supposed to be for a theatrical release type deal, right?
Let me read you exactly what was said in this article from Sabertron. It said, we have some pretty big news regarding upcoming. It says an animated origin film, which would be about the relationship between Optimus and Megatron leading into the War of Cybertron. We know that the director will be Josh Clooney, who recently directed Toy Story 4. He is currently reviewing the final draft from writers Andrew Barr and Gabriel Ferrari, those two did production work on Ant-Man and were credited writers on Ant-Man and the Wasp. The article from Deadline says that this is not part of the live-action Bay franchise, which they reiterate does include Bumblebee. Hence, why calling it a prequel, as the article does, is a bit of a contradiction. It's pretty cool to know that this big-budget film is in the hands of blah, 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 blah. So yeah, I don't know. Either Deadline fucked it up and doesn't understand that Bumblebee may be independent and unique from the Bayverse. And there's been all sorts of contradicting information about that. It lines up with the Bayverse for the most part for those, but
yeah, a strange choice.
I agree. Well, because so the only thing here is that fans obviously loved the CG element of the Bumblebee film that was on Cybertron, right?
Yeah, that's part of the movie,
right? So if they decide, well, fuck it, people do love this, and then did that, then I think that's a great choice. But
yeah, I'm just wondering if it's. I guess the Ant-Man people. I guess it's actually like a big budget, the action movie.
I would guess,
and not made for home, or Netflix type deal.
Right. I don't know. Any predictions, Chris? What do you think is going to be a prequel to?
I don't care. I don't know though, because it's very unclear. I'm thinking that maybe whoever wrote the article is just a fucking idiot, and it's
I don't
something.
Know
It's yeah. Do you even transform, bro? Yeah.
I don't. Well, yeah. I mean, it'll be cool to get the IDW story. I like that story,
Yeah, I would love that.
but it's quite complex, actually.
Very.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we have a couple questions this week. We'll try to run through a few here. This is from James R. He says, "Greetings to the NRR crew. Hope you are doing well, keeping safe, and most importantly, keeping sane. Thank you for all the content you've been pouring out. It has been a relief during these times when one needs anything and everything to fend off the cabin fever." He says, "How are the other guys doing? Dante, Gary, etc." So I was just going to say that Dante just texted me. Said, "Reporting from the streets of Anne Arundel County. I'm at Home Depot and all these cats out here raw dogging this breathable air. I'm not taking any chances. We still safe and sound on our end."
No.
So I just got that report. Gary is doing well. Gary, I can't talk about it here. Maybe I'll talk about it on the Patreon. But Gary, in many ways, is really fucking doing the Lord's work these days. As for Phil's still at work and holding up fine. His phone needs a bit of an update, but aside from that, Phil seems to be doing.
Oh God, that's a shit today. I had no idea what you guys were talking about because like asked for the thing and I just fucking did it immediately and gave it a thumbs up. I didn't know what the problem was.
Yeah, I had to give tech advice for those out there. That's right.
That
Your old Uncle Skullface had to come through with a little tech advice for these young whippersnappers, and get them straight on a couple of things on the old interwebs, which was interesting. But and Chris said, I just want to point out that the only guy in here with a CD collection is the one giving technical advice.
This is true.
He says, first off, let me see who else. Raul, I haven't heard anything from, so I'm assuming, as I always do, that no news is good news. Andy is holding up well in Ireland, seems to be doing fine. Gort's doing well. Everybody I know is doing well.
Adam's doing good. I talked to him just a few days ago.
Good.
Yep.
He says, first off, I wanted to take this opportunity to ask some things as means to keep the boredom at bay and maybe cause some discussion. First off, Joe, I have to confess that I'm a bit angry and jealous. You are one lucky son of a bitch for getting your hands on a copy of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Due to the closed borders, I was denied this, so now I am waiting and hoping my deluxe edition is there for me.
Well, I got the first class edition with the bike, and I ordered that shit like probably within an hour. I said it was up from Square. So
But that was like a year and a half. How long ago? Years ago?
A long time ago, and I paid in full immediately. So like, yeah. They sent that shit out to me early. I got it a day in advance.
Nice.
Bobby, you is that bike video going up on your channel?
No, it's going up on the Patreon.
Okay.
And I haven't put it up yet.
So you can tell people if you want to see a review of the cloud, you can go on Patreon.
Yeah, I have like not for nothing. I've done pretty well with keeping content on there. Like I was really concerned how this was all going to go, but like I've scheduled things like one a day. Monday through Friday, and if every now and then I've even posted something on Saturday.
I mean, that's already too much content, really. Like for what people actually do on Patreon, like every day is a lot.
Yeah, and even like on Fridays, on Fridays. Yeah, so I've actually had people hit me up and say that. Shout out to Kevin R. A few others have hit me up and been like, "Dude, I'm a subscriber to a few content creators on Patreon. You have more content than all of them combined, or my top guy or whatever." But I try to put out the podcasts, a lot of the podcast stuff, like the bonus podcast stuff, on Fridays because they're like 2 hours or so to kind of hold you over till Monday. It was like my goal to like the weekend is like catch up time, and then we hit the ground running again on Monday. He said, but despite that, I wanted to ask, how have you been taking to the remake? Has it met your expectations? What changes did you enjoy and which did you not? From the characters shown in the first part, which would you say is your favorite gameplay-wise and which story-wise?
Oh, man, that's so much. And, like, it's still new. And people haven't been having trouble getting it, so I don't want to spoil it. But it has way, way exceeded my expectation. Like awesome. I didn't think I was like people were really worried that it was going to be bad. I really didn't think it was going to be bad. I thought it was going to be at least decent, but not meet the like sometimes when you remake something, or something sacred, Final Fantasy is sacred in the nerd world. Like you just can't do right. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
people are gonna complain. So like I thought that was gonna be that, but really, like it's not. It's fucking amazing. I love everything about it. I'm still playing it. Like the story, the characters, the voice acting, it's great. There are things that I like all the changes. I like all the minor changes. There's one possible big change at the end, and like I am very optimistic about it. I know people who love the original might have, or there are some who are complaining about it, but yeah, I don't think the complaint is founded yet.
Well, let me approach this as sort of a rapid fire because he has a lot here, and I'll try to keep the spoiler ones out of it. So, who is your favorite player gameplay wise?
Tifa.
T full of what?
What?
I'm sorry.
Queen Latifah.
Which what about story wise?
I cannot
Okay.
pick. They're like I don't know.
Which
I don't know what the equivalent is for you, Bobby. It would be like picking between your two. Well, I guess it's easy for you. Han Solo is your fucking favorite Star Wars person. So,
right.
yeah, I just can't. It's like picking between your kids. Like I love these characters so much.
What about which character would you say? What about story wise? You can't pick. I'm sorry. I was still thinking that there was one in there that might be a potential spoiler that you didn't want to talk about. Also,
to me, it's good. The story is good. It is a remake of the original game with changes.
What character would you say you are most anxious to see return in the next part? He says that his is Vincent.
That would be my go-to.
Okay.
I like Sid a lot. The fucking cigar smoking, cussing astronaut that holds a spear.
What are your thoughts on the ending and where it could potentially lead the story? Or do you want to get into it?
Like I said, I don't want to spoil it. The potentials are limitless, and part of what is amazing and part of what's scary also, for all fans. And also people come into this game, the remake, wanting different things. Some people want a faithful, like, one-to-one port of the original game with updated graphics and voice acting, which is not what I wanted, really. But I can see why people want that. But I think that's pointless. When you remix something exactly the same as before, I think it's pointless.
Gotcha.
But I like the ending. It's kind of controversial, but I like it.
What RPG would you like to see given the FF7 treatment? His picks are Chrono Trigger, FF8 and 9, and Xenosaga series, and finally Legend of Dragoon.
I would say Legend of Dragoon. Legend of Dragoon can use a prequel also, because since the prequel, the last generation was mentioned on there already. As much as I love 8, like I love the world and stuff, but if you really think about the story, a lot of it doesn't fucking hold up. A lot of it doesn't. It's too much time traveling shit, and like they would have to change too much. What else is on that list? Chrono Trigger is a great fucking game. I could see that, but it's so long that it will be another one of those like multi-part games, and it had like fucking 56 different endings. So I don't know how they would do that nowadays.
And he says the Xenosaga series.
I love the Xenosaga series. No, I don't want a Xenosaga series remake. I want them to finish Xenogears, because Xenogears is a game that came out around the same time as Final Fantasy VII back in the late 90s, and at the end you find out it's episode 5. But we never got 1 through 4 or 6. I mean, it's like Star Wars. I guess Star Wars. Everyone was fine with Star Wars. You got 4, 5, and 6, right? And it was just fine. But
Right. So speaking of Star Wars, he says to me, but anyone's welcome to chime in if they have an opinion on it. He says he's been dipping into old Star Wars comics as of late, and one thing he wondered is how did I first feel when in certain issues I saw Jedi using what are essentially Force techniques attributed to the Sith, Force lightning being the prime example, or dark side users who didn't really portray an evil vibe the Sith give off and even were left alone by the Jedi of the time. He said, personally, I found it fascinating to see that it isn't all black and white. Some of the fandom portrays the Force as and is, I guess, and more like it depends on the user. I ask you this because I felt that you have been really opening my eyes to the lore, given your vids like Arrogance of the Jedi, your thoughts on The Last Jedi, and Luke's actions in the later trilogy. Very interesting and good stuff and food for thought. So, to me, I don't think that the Jedi are the antithesis of the Sith. Like, I think that the Jedi are the antithesis of dark side users. So, like, Asajj Ventress is the opposite of what a Jedi is. Kylo Ren is the opposite of what a Jedi is. But there is no opposite for what Vader is. There is no opposite for what Sidious is, because no Jedi is that perfect at being a Jedi. Like, they get really good at harnessing the light side of the Force, but they're not good enough to be what the Sith is for the dark side of the Force. The Sith is an absolute to me. As far as like them using dark side powers and vice versa, like it never. I don't think it really occurred to me, because I think I got into the comics after I got into Knights of the Old Republic, and the way that Knights of the Old Republic kind of handled it was, if you are a Jedi or you are more in line with the light side of the Force, it doesn't mean that you can't use dark side powers. Like Rey, for instance, in Episode 9. It just means that you're not going to be as good at it. So
it's not forbidden. It's not something you shouldn't use. Like, whoa, that dark side stuff, you shouldn't be fucking practicing that shit.
So I think that the Jedi Council that we see in the prequels kind of thinks that way. And right. And then the remnants of it in the original trilogy kind of think that way. But I'm not sure if they're right. Like they were wrong about so fucking much that I'm not sure if they're right.
I mean, they've changed so much from when they were originally created, the Jedi.
Right.
Council.
Right.
So like they're different already.
Correct. So to me, it's like you could be a plumber, but it doesn't mean that you don't know how to change out a breaker on your breaker box. You're just not going to be as good at that as an electrician. Is how I kind of see the dark side and the light side. But the Sith, like, no Jedi is going to be as good at dark side powers as the Sith are, and no dark side user is going to be as good at dark side powers as the Sith are. Like, they are 100%.
Well, the thing is, like, it's very clear. Well, not very clear. It's been shown a lot what dark side powers are. But like, what are I can't think of like a light side.
So like healing has been like in the games, and now in Episode 9, a light side power.
Okay. Yep.
That's like the easiest go to.
Perfect. No, it's good. I'm good with that.
And then Chris, he has one for you as well, which is diorama related. He says, "What was it that first piqued your interest creating dioramas and such, and what was your first attempt in building such projects, if I may ask, and do you feel it has made an impact on you as you have developed your skills in this area?"
Boy.
And then he says, "Hope you all remain safe, happy, healthy. Much love to you all. Thank you all for your work in these trying times."
I got started doing dioramas, I guess, about 5-6 years ago now.
Yep.
I'd seen some people do it. Actually, my buddy Dan had made a couple. And then it kind of got my interest in it. And I was trying to figure out a way to do it. For some reason, the foam to me just seemed like, I don't know, it just seemed cheap for some reason. So I tried to make some stuff like out of wood. It didn't work. I did some shipping containers and dumpsters and stuff like that. And I did the light up piece for Bobby for the Decepticon piece, and then I got busy doing like all those DTOF backers for the the light up things.
And now you've gone back to those.
Yeah, kind of in a different way. And then actually Sunday he'd asked me to make him an alleyway, which I'd never even thought about doing, and I did it, and I really enjoyed doing it, and it's kind of off to the races from there. It's changed me as it. Is that what the question was?
I think it was whatever it was that kind of piqued your interest.
Yeah, I mean, I'd gotten into action figure photography and wanting some stuff for that. Which, funny thing is, I built stuff for myself with all these grand plans to take pictures, and I never take the pictures. And it's it's just kind of spiraled out of control now, and I think about more so when I buy like figures and stuff. I think more a lot of the time about how would I use that in a diorama setup for a photo, which is kind of dumb because I don't take photos, but I think about it a lot, which is a very odd way to do it. And now I'm just so fucking busy doing this shit it doesn't even cross my mind really. I'm just fucking grinding. I'm always trying to think of the next idea, and I've come to the conclusion that I've got to figure out what to produce that people really can't just make themselves. I mean,
112 shoes.
Well, people do make those, but you know, like the thing I'm doing now with those columns. Yeah, you could. I'm sure somebody can make those, but to replicate them over and over and over, you know. So like, I don't have any interest in selling something with brickwork on it anymore, because everybody can do brickwork, and I don't know. Just trying to find my space in the diorama world and be unique.
And trying to like be at the bleeding edge of the fucking diorama technologies.
Sure, yeah, and that's, you know, I've invested a lot of money and planning to continue to invest a lot of money in what we do here, and I think that hopefully shows in what we have going on.
I never heard the story. I don't remember how Mesco got a hold of you.
D Amazing. I'd worked with Darius several times, and you know, they had contacted him and asked him, you know, hey, who wants, you know, we need some diorama stuff. They were doing their stuff in house, and I mean, you can look back and see what they were doing. It's basically like a little base plate with a picture behind it. So they were looking for something a little more, you know, unique and detailed. And
I guess just a rando intern there doing it or something.
Yeah, essentially, some guy that worked there. Yeah, who actually met it. I met it at New York Comic Con, actually.
You took his job.
I think I actually did.
Those things like the Mythic Legions backgrounds that you're doing. When you're getting the idea to do that, do you have to sit down at your computer and design it in the computer program, like how to cut the pieces?
Yes.
And like how has your, and I'm not trying to Barbara Walters you, but like
you need that filter.
But like, well, I'm just curious about it. Like where would you judge your skill and ability in regard to that? Like from the first time that you sat down at a computer and had to design something in this program to the point that you are now.
So I'll tell you a funny story. I'm working on a project. I actually showed it to you guys for a mystery box, basically. And I knew I knew what I wanted to make, and I knew the design that I had used in the past was on in my cloud, essentially, on this program I use. So I go back and I look at it, and I'm like, what the fuck was I doing? Because you just learn so much over time. So I will say, you know, we've got that vinyl, that Cricut Every Set vinyl cutter here, and the software for that lends itself a lot to the software I'm using now. So it was a pretty easy transition for me, but I learn new stuff every day on how to use that software. So yeah, I have to sit down. So like I'll tell you, like those walls, there's 3 cuts I have to do. I have one piece, and my machine will cut a 20 by 20 piece of foam. So, you know, I buy these sheets and I quarter them, and then I half that. So I've got basically, it's like a 22 to 24 inch square slide in the machine. So one cut is the columns. So those columns are 2 pieces that are glued together, sanded and filled to get both sides. And then there's the very back piece, and then there's an arch filler, and then the front arch. So those are on 2 pieces of foam. And then on a piece of PVC that I've had cut out specifically to the size I need is the window and the floor piece. So those cut out. And I have to lay all that out. I have to lay out everything, how deep I want the cuts to be. And essentially people use these machines to make, a lot of what they make is, you know, live, laugh, love signs and fucking American flags. I swear, if you go in the groups for these CNC machines, it's an American flag with a red stripe. It's an American flag with a blue stripe. It's an American flag with a, you know, my uncle's Vietnam unit on it or whatever. It's like, I swear, 80% So, and like the software that it's free software. It's called Easel. It's available online. Anybody can use it. I cut out shapes. I mean, if you think about what I'm doing, I'm just cutting out shapes. I'm not doing anything. So there's a lot of other software, and a lot of people look down on this software that I use. And oftentimes someone is like, yeah, Easel sucks. I'm like, well, I'm not making American flags and live, laugh, love signs. So it works out great for me.
Right.
It works for what you needed it for, and it's free.
Right. So pretty much everything I've ever made since I've had the machine, I have the file for it. So I can go back and like when I do need bricks, I don't lay out bricks. I go to my file and I copy paste and move it around and manipulate to the size I need.
Right.
So it's been a learning curve there, but I have this great catalog of all this stuff. I've only lost one design.
And if you designed it, it's always at your disposal.
It is. I've only lost one design, and it's a pretty heartbreaking one. That vault with the safe with the vaults inside.
Oh, really? Oh my God!
I deleted it somehow, and I called the company. They're like, "Yeah, there's no way to recover anything because it's all cloud based." So there's a little insight. So going along with that, also like that piece that we're working on now. The behind the window is a frosted piece of translucent material for the window, and there's a piece of it's actually gutter mesh that's cut out to give it that crosshatch, window like was in vogue at the time that this would have been around. So then everything gets glued, sanded, painted, sealed, boxed, and shipped. And my wife helps out with the majority of those steps. So
yeah, I say painting and building and everything.
Yeah. So it's a full production facility here now. But considering I started out making a mess and getting paint on my kitchen table in Alabama, I think we've come a long way. So.
Yeah,
People
definitely.
do that, even though they've been doing that for years.
I'm doing it.
Exactly.
And I just wanted to see if I could. We had a couple quick questions. I'm just going to knock those out, and then we have two for next week. Just to shout those individuals out is Paul C. and Esteban. So I'll save those two for next week because they're a little bit more in depth, and we'll go ahead and knock these two out. So the first one is from Fun Toys fan. Wait, no, maybe I got that. It might just be Facundo. Yeah. So I'm not sure which one is the pseudonym there, but that's a cool fucking name. He says, "Hi, I was listening to 243 and you were talking about boy bands and stuff, and I asked myself this, are the Temptations a boy band?"
Oh my God.
They apply to what Chris said about being dancing and singing and not playing Band of Boys, right? Thanks for the constant content output. I think so.
What about Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes? Smokey Robinson.
I guess all that stuff, that Motown stuff of that era would be boy bands.
They were like they're a product, right? They were created specifically.
Well, I don't know about all of them. I think some of them are like guys that grew up together.
I think that's the difference, right? Like boy bands have to be perfectly assembled.
Hey, Bobby.
Yes.
How about the Isley Brothers? Is that a boy band?
I don't think so.
You call the Isley Brothers a boy band, you're probably going to lose a finger.
Yeah, and Ron Isley still has it. But yeah, I would say that there's an argument for it, but I think, Joe, you might be right that the caveat to it might be that it has to be a packaged product.
Yeah, like a commercial money-making product.
Yeah.
Beach Boys?
Yeah. Well, wait, did they? I think they knew each other. I think they came and they played instruments.
That's true.
Oh, they have to do something other than sing and dance.
Boy bands cannot do anything but sing and dance.
So if they can play their own instruments, then, they would have to write. Boy bands don't write their own music either, right? They don't write their own lyrics and music.
Ooh, I don't know because that does change. Because I think New Edition wrote their music. I'm pretty sure.
Well, the definition of boy band is loosely defined as a vocal group consisting of young male singers, usually in their teenage years or 20s, singing love songs marketed towards young women. Many boy bands dance as well as sing, usually giving highly choreographed performances. So there's some other ones we've missed out on here. The Osmonds.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Menudo is a fucking factory. I don't know if you guys know about Menudo or not.
Are they Korean?
What?
No. They're Mexican.
Oh, no, I don't know about them. There's like
is Menudo still going on? So basically, Menudo is
Wasn't Ricky Martin in Menudo?
Ricky Martin was in Menudo.
Oh,
So basically,
okay.
Menudo is you aged out of Menudo.
You did not age out of Backstreet Boys.
You definitely didn't.
They were touring. I mean, you don't age out of the Beach Boys either.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think by that definition, the Temptations is definitely in that pocket. As is a lot of that, the Four Tops and all that stuff.
They have officially disbanded after Menudo disbanded. They started in '77 and disbanded in 2009.
Oh wow, that's a hell of a run.
Yeah, hell of a run.
And then the last question, and this was given just to me, but I thought I would like to hear your guys' responses to it. Is if you could take only one Star Wars film to watch for the rest of your life, and not to say that you can watch other stuff. Yeah, you can still watch other stuff, but if you're going to watch a Star Wars movie, it's going to have to be this particular Star Wars movie. Which would you choose?
Is the holiday special off the table?
Off the table.
Like Rogue One and all that shit is on the table.
Rogue One is on the table.
All that shit.
Solo's on the table. Clone Wars Animated is on the table, the movie.
Just for clarification, it's not that this is the only movie we can ever watch, but if we want to watch it, this is the only Star Wars property that exists for us.
Correct.
I don't know why, but like my head jumped to 3.
That's my answer as well.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Well, I see. We're on the same boat a lot. That's why I don't find you to be a contrarian.
Yeah, but I'm
contrarian boat.
Are you on the boat too?
No, I'm just saying it's a good name for a band.
Oh.
Or actually, contrarian submarines probably better. But I was either 3 or Rogue One, to be honest.
Wow, 3 is strong with it.
Yeah. So like, I'll tell you what my thoughts are about 3. Like I think it's. I mean, I know it's dark, but I think it's the most fun. Like I like that movie.
There's a lot of romping.
It's just fun to me. It's just everything I love. It's very Force heavy, very Force centric, which is my favorite part of Star Wars. It's just lightsabers and battles and blowing up stuff and quotable lines and
You were the chosen one.
Yep, and tragedy, which is my favorite part of Star Wars. Dude, I love it.
Is 3 also with Obi-Wan riding the lizard? So
Yep.
to speak?
Yep.
Hello there.
Chris, that sounds like me on anniversary and birthday too, by the way.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
We're bringing it all back.
Yeah. And with that, shout out to the rest of the cool table, Shattercast Uncut, Enter the Realm, Stasis Lock, Toy Detox, who I think just put out an episode. Either that or my library updated and downloaded everything again, which it sometimes does. Shout out to Building Up to It, Fresh Communications, Breaking the Mold, and Verbally Challenged, which if you haven't listened to the episode of Verbally Challenged in regard to the Rona Romp, it's very good. And Jose Harrican BX hosts it, obviously, and from working in a hospital in the Bronx, I believe.
Yep.
He has a very sobering and passionate take on all of it. And
weren't people just all out in the park this past week in New York, in West Village?
Yep.
So
they've been everywhere.
And while I have some reservations about some of the statements that he made, and some disagreements and things at point of view and things like that, like the fact that you can tell this dude had some shit to get off his chest, like I could listen to that energy all day long. And it's a fantastic episode if you are so inclined. And shout out to the rest of the Nerve Rage team. Marilyn Phil handling our notes and Twitter. Dante the Destroyer, who is well in not going raw dog on the breathable air. And handles our Facebook. And shout out to Raul handling our Instagram, and Andy and Gort helping me with Force Sensitive, as well as Esteban handling the Force Sensitive Instagram. And then Manny behind the scenes, who I would like to talk to, make sure that he's doing well in these times, but we keep missing each other. And I think that's it.
And with that, Flappy Labius.
Tasty Tank.
Tight dick player.